Chinese menu in his hand, walking through the streets of Soho in the rain. He was looking for a place called Lee Ho Fox. I'm gonna get a big dish of beef chow mein. Ow, werewolves of London. Ow. Ow, werewolves of London. Ow, draw blood.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Wax on, wax off. No, I am your father. Why did it have to be snakes?
How savage, fierce, and grim. His bones are bleached in white. But what is death to him? He grins as if to bite. He mocks the fate that bade be gone, their fierceness stamped in every bone. Let silence settle from the midnight sky, such silence as you've broken with your cry. The bleak in the wind howl until the utmost verge, on the mighty waste, thy fitting dirge. Hi, I'm Dennis.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome to our Spooktacular?
Sure, Spooktacular.
Sounds wonderful.
It's Spooktacular.
Spooktacular.
It's Spooktacular.
That was a poem by Alexander Posey. Born in 1873 and passed away in 1908. Quite an old poem, but...
Right, he passed away. That probably what stopped the Cubs from winning World Series for so many years, too. 1908.
Oh, is that when the GOAT?
Yeah, we're fans.
Okay, yeah, definitely fans.
Anyway.
So, how you doing this creepy fall evening? Once again, a Friday.
Not bad. Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing very well. I'm a little kind of creeped out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Well, because I'm getting this vibe of, I don't know, scariness, I guess.
All right.
Hauntedness. I mean, I've been reading these poems, and it's kind of like putting me in a mindset that's kind of getting me the jitters a little bit.
Well, it is the Spooktacular, so...
That's why I was trying to scare myself to get into the...
Good idea.
Mindset. What you got there? Your drink is blue.
It's a blue moon.
A blue moon?
It's a blue moon.
Not the beer blue moon.
No, it's a blue drink. It's called a blue moon.
That's nice.
I don't even know. There's like 100 different drinks called a blue moon, but I felt it was fitting for our evening and
there seems to be
our topic.
A couple dead fish at the bottom.
I threw a couple of my Swedish fish in there just to let them swim, which kind of goes against the blue moon thing. It kind of makes
Are they sleeping?
They're sleeping.
They're just sleeping. Okay.
They're not floating at the top, so the bottom. They're just eating. I must have thrown some food in there for them or something.
Okay.
So
what else? What you got today?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's the fall Halloween season. I was doing a little Halloween decorating.
Yes.
Front of the house. Haven't done that in a few years, putting anything out in front of the house. So I got these two like plywood ghosts that I cut out probably 30 years ago or so that I still have. Those are up near the house, and then I got this plastic, big, huge plastic pumpkins.
Yeah.
That at one time had a light in it that didn't for a while, and then so I got that put out. I actually got another bulb, wired up a light so I could have a light inside of it. Then I had this one smaller blow-up thing for the lawn, and it was a pumpkin with Slimer from Ghostbusters on top of it. Not a big one, one of those 3-foot maybe.
Yeah.
And I wanted something else, so, took one of the kids over to Menards, and we're looking at some stuff, and They said they had some bigger ones, but then I'm like, it's gonna look, the other thing's gonna look stupid next to it.
Right.
If I get this like 12-foot anything, and I have a stupid little 3-foot, Slimer on a pumpkin next to it, so I ended up getting like a 5-foot Frankenstein, but very cartoonish looking.
Yeah.
And like a 4-foot or so mummy.
Right.
Again, cartoonish looking. So
I keep it all in scale.
So So I have that, and that's what I told my son. I'm like, I'd rather it spread in the front. So I get these, get it all set up. Looks pretty good. And my son's like, it's cool. It's a little kiddish. Obviously he wants the
Freddy Krueger, and
Mike Myers, all that
yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
But see, the way I look at things like that, and this is another one of my isms probably, you have two types of decorators, whether it's Halloween or Christmas or whatever.
Yep.
You have the decorator like I am this year, which is you put a few things out. You don't try to get too ambitious. It looks nice enough. It looks good. Or you have the ones who go overboard and make it like a haunted house. Not that I have anything against them, but if I went to do that, I would need to have the best haunted house front lawn in the neighborhood. And if I didn't, I would be like, why did I try? Why did I even bother? So the way I look at it is if you're not going to go big, then just go small.
See, I thought you were going to say the two types were the ones who decorate more like a fallish thing with pumpkins and scarecrows and bales of hay versus the people who do this more scary thing like you're saying.
Right. Well, I mean, there's that too, but like I said, I more look at it and I do the same. I look at it the same way with Christmas time.
Because you got to win.
When you put a ton of stuff on a ton of stuff, but the guy down the next block put like 2 tons of stuff, then it's like, what did I waste my time putting a ton of stuff for?
No,
when he put
I disagree.
2 tons. Well,
bro, if you put a ton of stuff in your yard, I'd still, as I was driving by, go, wow, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't then drive by the guy with 2 tons of stuff and go, that's way better. That guy sucks back there. Let's go egg his house. I wouldn't say that.
But see, I would. So, I'm of the
Okay.
Talladega Night. If you're not first, you're last. So be first or be last.
Magic Man.
And if I'm not
Gotcha.
going to be first, I might as well be one of the regular guys that just puts, a handful of smaller things just to be festive.
I got you. Okay.
There you go. That's my.
See, I think I'm
That's my editorial.
I'm more the guy who wants to put the bale of hay and the scarecrow and the
Nothing wrong with that.
fall kind.
That would all fall into my type setup that I have in front of my lawn. If I put a bale of hay and that sort of stuff, it
would be
all go in that.
interesting if you took your logic of being the best, but you didn't do the scary thing. You did the bale of hay thing,
And just
so
had
you
a-
actually build like a barn in the front of your house. Make it look a big like a fall.
200 bales of hay
Yeah, right.
all over the place.
That'd be interesting.
That is kind of funny.
Yeah, that would be cool. All right, so
Like 100 different festive fall welcome signs all lined up across the whole front of the house. Boom, boom, boom.
and like
in
a
row.
menu of several pumpkin spice treats and lattes but everything with pumpkin spice because we know.
Well, of course.
This is the season for pumpkin spice,
is.
and we know that you love
The pumpkin spice and
you love the pumpkin spice people.
those pumpkin spice girls with their
beanie and cardigans,
with their tall boots and their
I just bought this
and
from
their Han,
LL
and their Han
Bean.
Solo vests. They're
I just bought this new outfit from LL Bean. Is that it? LL Bean, right? The catalog, LL Bean.
yeah, I don't know. I've never looked at one, so I don't know what they sell in them.
Yeah, me neither. That'd be stupid to do that.
But I digress.
So, a poem I read earlier was about werewolves. Now, this man lived, how many years ago, and
You said it earlier, like 100.
Well, he was born in
50 or
1873, died in 1908 when the Cubbies, had their thingy. So, even back then, that obviously this werewolf thing of
right.
So leads us into. You got a good segue into the.
That's a great segue. You're the king of the segue lately.
Well, I don't know if that's really the segue,
But leads us right into our movie for tonight, which is
American Werewolf in London.
yes,
Which is I don't know. I mean, prior to us discussing, reviewing, or talking about that movie, I truly have not seen that movie since the 80s. So I didn't know what to expect, I did know at the time when I seen it in the theaters in the 80s when I was a kid, I did remember the special effects at the time were actually earth-shaking, groundbreaking.
It was
I
awesome.
was really
for the time.
Yeah.
It was an incredible movie.
So I was really interested in going back and okay, how's this?
And you know what?
Up?
They really hold up.
They do.
They really hold up. It's obviously they do better. They do more realistic looking things in some ways, but it's almost they have less realistic looking things sometimes because sometimes the computer generated
that's exactly
stuff.
It
doesn't look real because it looks computer generated.
And I don't even know the technique they used to make those. The changing into the wolf, the elongating of the hand.
Oh yeah, he had.
Yeah,
they put like.
I don't know how that worked.
Yeah, I was reading about it, and now I don't have it, written down. But just like the pneumatics and the different things that he put in there that to stretch, to make the hands grow and the mouth, snout.
Right.
It was.
I remember being in the theater and being like freaked out. Like, how is that even humanly possible that they can do this and make this look?
It was
so realistic.
It was amazing. So the movie came out in 1981.
You want to give a quick synopsis of the movie? Is there a quick?
Sure.
Because a lot of people maybe don't even know this movie.
If you don't know the movie, this is a quick synopsis of the movie. Movie came out in 1981. Starred in the main two roles. It starred David Naughton and Griffin Dunne. These two guys are backpacking through England, and they get attacked by a werewolf. Griffin Dunne is murdered, and David Naughton is saved, and he ends up in a hospital. And then Griffin Dunne starts appearing to him as
undead,
as a corpse that's continuously decaying more and more as the movie goes by, which is super cool. And keeps telling him, "You're gonna turn into a werewolf at the next full moon. You have like a week, and then you have a few days. This is gonna happen. Blah blah blah." So, and sure enough, he turns into the werewolf.
Does
and then
chaos.
You have a full moon for a couple nights. So the first night he turns into a werewolf and does some things, and then the next night he is like the second night, and that's kind of the how the movie ends that second night. It's basically those 2 nights, and but it was groundbreaking at the time.
Right.
Prior to this, the movies like this were old creature feature type movies with Lon Chaney and stuff, which they paid a great homage to those in this movie. Mm-hmm. Rick Baker, who did the makeup and stuff for this, he wanted to do the werewolf as like a 2-legged werewolf, like the Wolfman.
Okay.
But John Landis, the director, envisioned this hound of hell, he called it, on all fours, that type of a wolf. So at first, Rick Baker was like, how am I going to even do this? This is like messed up. But they figured out a way, and that's the other thing that was so different about it than anything else.
Right. It wasn't the werewolf that we're used to seeing.
Right. We're used to the Lon Chaney.
And, at first viewing, again, I loved everything, but the first sight I saw of the actual wolf when he was in werewolf form, for a split second I thought, okay, cheesy, looks like a stuffed animal. That was the first reaction. And then, as I'm watching more, that facial features on that thing were darn right scary. They were horrifying. They looked great.
They were. He actually modeled that off of his dog. He had a dog. I forget the type of dog. I do know this dog's name was Bosco. I remember that because it made me think of Bosco sticks. But his dog's name was Bosco. But I can't remember the type of dog that it was. But it was a dog that actually looked very much like that, very wolf-like.
Yeah. Now, what I love about this, and we've talked about this in the past about these older movies and stories. So I was kind of thinking about this is like, it's kind of like how Jaws was. You didn't see the shark till later into the movie. it's kind of the same way. I mean, you see him get attacked initially, but then from that point, you see a story developing. You see him falling in love with the nurse. You see the doctor getting involved, which, is hilarious to me because, I mean, like,
right.
It wouldn't happen.
That doctor.
But, I just happen to be in the vicinity of your sweet little village. I'm going to check out his story, But it all added to a storyline. This, and it was just more than just.
It's very good storytelling. John Landis actually wrote this. He wrote this after he was working on Hogan's Heroes, I believe.
No, it was it was a World War II movie.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't Hogan's Heroes.
It was I can't remember. But yes, he was, and he was just he was actually a teenager, and he was a he was not a prop hand, but he was like a grip, or he was like a helper of some sort, and he was like, I think 18.
Yeah, he was young, and he was over in Europe filming this, and he came across this funeral. These people were burying
gypsies. Yep,
gypsies were burying someone that died, and they were burying them with their feet down in the ground.
Yeah.
And they asked him
covered in garlic,
and he asked them why they're doing this, and then they said so that they don't come back, so their body doesn't come back out of the ground. And ever since then, he wanted to write this type of story.
Well, here's what I think we also need to touch on. I don't know if this is the point too, but John Landis, what's he known for? Animal House.
He's known for a lot of comedies. Animal House,
Blues Brothers. Okay, so
Spies Like Us.
So
there's a lot of these old SNL characters
to have
comedies.
Him right off of, I believe, Blues Brothers. Because who the studio wanted for the two backpackers, Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi.
Yep.
Which would have been a funny. I would think Dan Aykroyd would have been the one gotten killed, and Belushi would have been David. But
Belushi I think was the one that I think they wanted Aykroyd for.
Oh, really?
For David, yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
But that would have been a different movie.
Oh yeah, it would have been. It
would have been fun to see what it looked like.
It would have been a totally different movie because and he told them, number one, they're busy doing something else.
Right.
But I want new faces. I want new faces for this movie. So he told the execs. It was the he didn't want them. The studio execs are the ones that wanted Belushi and Aykroyd.
But that was the thing about this movie too, because I mean he's obviously involved in comedic movies. That's what I love about this movie. It's not a straight up horror movie.
Right. And there are funny bits to it.
And it's not like not like a drop dead laughing funny, but they're just
it's dark humor.
Yes.
And that's
so good.
That's what he did so great in this movie is he took this movie that was paid tribute to the old creature features, put a new spin on it, and added this like dark humor twist to it that you just didn't see coming. It was great.
I think for me, like, okay, obviously you already touched on how his buddy keeps showing up to him as an undead because he's cursed because he was killed by a werewolf, so he can't move on, so he's doomed to roam the earth cursed as an undead
until that werewolf is killed,
until that bloodline is severed. So, like you said, when you first see him, he's freshly killed.
Right.
Gory, bloody. He's eating his eggs, and it's just disgusting. And then as you see him the next time, he's starting to decompose more, Right. And that's all funny stuff. But to me, the when they're in the theater with all the people he's killed, I think there's 6 of them.
Yeah.
And that whole conversation of how to kill himself. And that young girl, she's so vibrant. And yes, a gun would work. Where put it to your temple. And the guy's like, no, you should put it in your mouth. That way you don't miss. They're just so. That part to me was just because they're all bloodied, they're all mauled up, and it's just
and that one that for Griffin Dunn's character, that was a complete puppet for that part.
Yeah, it did. It did.
He was not him at all
at that point because
he was so decayed.
Yeah, right.
That they used just a complete mold into a puppet for him.
And I actually think I saw in the credits the guy from the Muppets,
Frank Oz. Frank Oz
was
the guy from the government that came to the hospital.
That was Frank Oz?
That was Frank Oz. When the doctor was in the room with him, the guy comes in
from the embassy.
From the embassy. Frank Oz comes in and
I didn't really. I thought it had to do with that puppet stuff, because I know Frank Oz worked with the Muppets and all that stuff, so I didn't realize.
And the best part about that is Frank Oz as this character from the U.S. Embassy, he comes in and his great line was, "These dumbass kids, they never appreciate what you do for them." And I'm like, this is great. And considering, this is Yoda and Fozzie and, that's saying this,
Yeah, no, I didn't realize that was actually him, but I thought it had to do with the puppetry.
Yeah, speaking of the credits, it was actually funny in the credits, in the post-credits, they actually put in there a congratulations to Prince Charles and Princess Di because they got married that year.
Oh, did they?
Which is, I think they kind of did it because in the movie when David is trying to get himself arrested, he's like, the Queen is whatever, and he's and Prince Charles is a
he says
derogatory term, and I think they did that to kind of like smooth that over a little bit.
Well, okay. So, one of the parts I really liked, I liked the development of the relationship with David and the nurse. What was her name? Do you remember her name?
Oh, she was Nurse Alex.
I love because they take time to develop that, like from the beginning of little flirtatious, like you see it like, and then it gets a little bit more. And what I absolutely love, is the simplest stupid thing of, okay, they take time to show Alex when she's visiting that little boy and giving him his medicine, and he's like, she's interacting with him, and he's, saying, no, and just, they take time to, it develops her as a character. Like you're seeing, they take this time to do this that has nothing to do with the storyline of the movie other than
build her character,
which
they might, they have to make you like her. And,
right, but what I'm saying, I think that really adds to some of these older movies, the time they took with that. I mean,
you're right. They did.
Do you think in a modern horror movie they would have?
I don't know if they would have
maybe
done that.
some would.
I don't know if they would have.
You've probably seen more Lucas modern horror movies.
Yeah, I would say like most like slasher horror stuff, not really. But like I know some of like Jordan Peele's stuff. Like he does some like character development, but that's not like really horror. It's more thriller stuff.
Well, okay. So do you consider this horror? I don't consider this horror. I probably consider it more.
I consider it horror. What horror was then? You know what I mean? This is 1981.
But they had slasher movies back then too.
This was horror then, though. I mean,
see, I might have to differ with you because they had slasher movies back then too that were just straight up.
Not a lot.
Maybe not, but
if I might interject, I haven't seen this movie, but just hearing the way it's described, I'm getting like the original It vibe, where like it has some kind of creepy stuff, but it's not like super like dark. Like it has some of that.
See that maybe
more comedy.
I can see
it's
that.
more bloody than It's the original It.
Yeah,
maybe?
it's pretty bloody actually.
Yeah, so
it's surprisingly bloody. I was actually surprised how bloody it was from not remembering that it was that bloody.
I mean, the first time he sees his friend after he visits him as undead in the hospital. And the way his neck is ripped open, and the flesh is just flapping.
In fact, there was one little
blood.
There was one little piece of flesh that kept flapping.
Yes.
That was bothering them, and it was bothering Griffin Dunn a lot.
And
he's like, all the people are going to do is look at this flap of skin on my neck. He was like
and
actually
what
mad
me
about
out?
it.
Like he's eating these eggs, and in my head, I'm like, the flap of skin with the fried egg, and It was like
there was one scene that they actually cut.
disgusting.
There was a little tiny scene that they actually cut from the movie where a piece of toast fell out of his neck.
Yeah.
And they took that out.
So like all these little things of like character development, to me it just adds to that story. And then to me it's also this love story, which I really enjoyed watching develop, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what? On that note, I would love it if we would take a commercial break right now. What do you think about that?
That sounds good.
All
Sounds
right,
good.
Let's do it. Welcome to Discreet Lube. Would you please turn your car off?
Sure thing, buddy.
What can we do for you today, sir?
Oh, I need an oil change.
Sounds good. Oil change, Bay 2!
Oil change, Bay 3!
Oh, yeah. And my driver's side brake light is out. Could you fix that? I don't need the police pulling me over.
Of course. Would you pop your trunk so I can get a look at your taillight?
You betcha. Fantastic.
That's odd. There's a man tied and gagged in the trunk. Well, let me get to that brake light. Jeez, that's annoying. Let me undo this gag and see what he wants.
Oh my gosh! Thank you.
Would you mind keeping it down? I'm trying to change this brake light.
Are you kidding me? You have to untie me. This guy is crazy. I lost a $3 bet to him on a ball game, and just because I didn't have cash on me, he tied me up and threw me in his trunk.
What game? Oh, was it the Cubs versus Sox? I love the Crosstown Classic. Oh, okay. Almost done with the brake light.
Are you serious? Did you not hear a word
And done. All right, sir. Brake light is done. Give us a few more minutes on that oil, and you'll be good to go. Will that be cash or card?
Cash, my good sir.
Thank you for visiting Discreet Lube, where we didn't see anything but a satisfied customer.
All right. Well, welcome back to this Spooktacular. Spectacular. So what I was saying right before we went to commercial was about this relationship of David and the nurse, and when she finds out he's got no place to stay, she welcomes him into her home.
Yeah, her bed.
And she pretty much tells him, she pretty much tells him right up front.
I got one bed. So.
She's like, this is how many lovers I've had. This is how many one-night stands
Right.
I've had. And
Very upfront.
She's like, those English women. Oof.
They're so transparent.
No, she was like, there's something about you.
You're going to be number 8.
But it seemed like it was going to be more than a one-night stand because, but then they had
They were feeling each other.
Yeah, definitely in that sex scene that they had in there. And actually it was dramatically cut down because apparently it was a lot more graphic than what they showed.
In fact, prior to this movie, David Naughton, who played David in the movie, he was the I'm a Pepper guy for the Dr. Pepper ad commercials.
How many people could remember that?
And
I'm a pepper.
You're a pepper. She's a pepper. He's a pepper.
Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too?
But they actually let him go because of the sex scenes in this movie,
Yep.
because of his nudity and stuff.
Because
in the movie.
that wasn't
right
in line with their.
But they had to dial back the nudity too.
Yeah, they did.
Because, do you remember why?
Ratings?
No,
wasn't it?
They could not show frontal from him because David Naughton was uncircumcised.
I did not
And
know
this
that.
character was written as a Jewish man. So they definitely had to dial back the nudity.
That is a fun fact I didn't know, Chris. Very good. I like that a lot. No, but
Sorry, David Naughton. If you're still alive, I just outed you for your
your
uncircumcisedness.
He could have got that done after.
He could have, I'm sure.
Yeah, you don't know.
It takes like 20 minutes at a what is it, a bar mitzvah or something? Or I don't know.
Put a little jar of formaldehyde, put it on your mantelpiece.
I don't know.
So, anyways, I did like how they, you know,
That kind of surgery can be done over the weekend. Name the movie, quick.
that's it. I don't know.
Ace Ventura.
Oh.
When he's trying to show everybody and he's ripping the clothes off of Einhorn. He's like, that kind of surgery can be done over the weekend. All right, anyway, go on. Sorry, I'm jumping.
No, that's good, man.
Crossover movie.
I like it. I like how it takes this and turns it kind of into a love story, because I think they do fall in love with each other. And
they clearly do.
And
well, clearly by the end also.
Yes,
because you can tell at the end there was love there when, you know,
she went to go talk to the wolf.
Yep, the wolf.
And you seen that little twinkle in his eyes of, you know, love. But and that's what made it even better with, you know, I don't know, do we do a spoiler what happens, you know, when he
Well, I don't think we need to go too far. Give him a little bit of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because if you haven't seen it, you really should go see
I don't think
this
it's something that
movie.
we have to say.
No.
Kind of the very ending on what happened.
No, but it was well done, and I really think that adds a lot to the movie.
It does.
I mean,
it does. It's the character development is extremely important, and they did it way better, I think, in the older movies. But who am I to say? You know,
not to mention the village, which I can't remember. Although the tavern was called the Slaughtered Lamb.
The Slaughtered Lamb.
Even that, like, you know, it gave you that. It was very stereotypical kind of English pub,
right?
With you know, who are you, strangers here in this parts kind of thing happening.
And after a little bit, you're just like, all right, something really weird's going on here.
Yeah, they're all on.
And I was kind of like shocked that they left. I don't know. I mean, I guess I know what's going to happen.
Right.
So you're watching it and you're like, especially now, I don't know what the heck I thought.
Yeah, I don't either.
You know, in 80s when I watched it, but especially now, I'm thinking to myself, no, don't go out there. All the signs are telling you to stay here. But if you're in that, because then I had to tell myself, if they're in that, how creepy does this place look to stay there?
No, but
you know what I mean?
Okay, so all those people in the tavern, the Slaughtered Lamb, they sent those boys out. They kicked them out. You know, the bartender lady was like, we can't let them go. I mean, there was a couple in there that really struggled with the fact that they let them go. Well, yeah,
and then she talked them into going after them, and that's how David
after the fact.
But that's how David ended up living, because they shot the
and there had to be guilt, because that's why that one guy pulled the doctor aside in the rain when he left the tavern
to tell him
about. But it's just like, why would they send those kids out? I mean, to me, that was just.
Well, they sent them out because you have these out of towners, these outsiders that now are going, if they stay there, they're going to know your secret of this town. And they're going to go and tell the world. They're going to go tell America. They're going to go tell anything. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of.
That's what you think that was?
They were keeping the secret of their town. That's what I think.
Okay, so then.
I'm not saying it was right. I'm just saying that's what I think their motivation was.
Here's the thing. This is what kind of gets me too. So they finally do go out and save the boys, or save David at least at this point. Mm-hmm. And they shoot the wolf.
Which seemed kind of easy. Why didn't they just
wait
outside till the wolf came by and then shoot the wolf? I mean, they like hide in there. Like, oh my God, what are we going to do? There's a werewolf out there. And then they're like, oh, we better go save that kid. Well, bring a gun in case we need to shoot the wolf. Just bring someone.
They could have put anyone out there in the village square while everyone's in the houses in their windows with guns.
Right.
Wolf comes, shoot, just like they did there.
Right. But. Roger, you got your gun?
Yeah. I guess that didn't really...
Yeah, no. Bring the silver bullets this time.
No.
They seem to work better last time.
No. Think about David's friend. Because David's like, when he suggested shoot himself, David's like, do I got to use a silver bullet? David, no, come on. Like, that was it. No, that's so stupid. No. Regular bullet would work. That's just folklore stuff.
Another thing I love in this movie is the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
The soundtrack to the movie. They play Blue Moon 3 times by 3 different artists in this movie. Okay, they played Blue Moon by Bobby Vinton, Sam Cooke, and the Marcells. Then they played Bad Moon Rising by John Fogerty. And they play Moon Dance by Van Morrison. They also play some other songs that have Moon in the title as well, but not like real popular ones. Now, John Landis really wanted to use the song Moonshadow by Cat Stevens, but Cat Stevens, who had recently converted to Islam, didn't want his song associated with a movie about like the undead and stuff like that.
So that's why he wouldn't do it?
So that's why he wouldn't let him use that movie. Now, one thing I never understood, this movie came out in 1981.
Right.
Werewolves of London, which we have a lot of experience with, you and I. Werewolves of London came out in 1978. So it was out before this movie. Why would you not use a song called Werewolves of London when you're using all these pop, rock, rock and roll kind of songs in your movie when it's called Werewolves of London and your movie is an American Werewolf in London?
Okay, the only place I could see that. Okay, so all these blue moons and stuff. This is music during the movie.
Yeah, different scenes. It's just kind of
right. But for some reason, when you just said that, there, it made a lot of sense to me. But you know where I pictured that song being? It would be like the end credits.
End credits would work. Yeah, it would.
I couldn't see that being actually in the movie itself.
I don't know. I could see it. I could see it in the movie.
No, because they're actually talking about werewolf.
My kind of theory on that.
Okay.
My kind of theory on that is because he had to have had that in his head. Oh my God, there's a song called Werewolves of London. Should I use it? Should I talk to Warren Zevon? What should I do? I don't know.
He would have.
I'm sure he thought
Warren
about it.
would have.
I'm sure because Warren Zevon thought that song was a goof.
It was a joke.
It was a joke song.
Yeah.
So, but my thought was, do you not use a song like that so it doesn't look like your movie is written about that song? Like, so you don't think that you didn't have, because he clearly had the idea for this movie long before the song was ever written. So do you make it look like you just copied the song and made a movie about a song by using the song?
Yeah,
is it better to distance yourself? That's kind of my theory on why he might have.
All the songs in there, they don't talk about werewolves. They talk
they're all about
moons alluding to the wolf, but
right.
they don't actually come straight out and say it. So yeah, maybe you're right. It's a good point.
I mean, Bad Moon Rising does have a little bit of kind of tendencies towards that. It doesn't say werewolf or anything, but it is Bad Moon Rising. I see trouble on the, what I mean? It could be kind of go down that road, but it doesn't specifically come out and say werewolf like that
right.
one.
And the way Warren, the lyrics in those.
Well, he howls. I mean, come on.
I mean, but just everything, he'll rip your throat out, Jim. I mean, it's too maybe on the nose, maybe.
Could be.
Maybe.
Yeah, that was probably a little bit much on that song to use. So another thing I want to talk a little bit more about Rick Baker. Okay. Rick Baker has done the makeup for so many movies. Okay. Everything from, Gremlins, Men in Black, King Kong, Harry and the Hendersons, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, The Howling, The Ring, Hellboy, X-Men.
Oh my gosh,
he's done makeup stuff on all these movies. He actually played in the 1976 King Kong, which is really the best King Kong. Prove me wrong.
I agree with you on that one.
The 1976 King Kong, he actually played King Kong. He actually was inside the King Kong suit. Rick Baker was, as well as doing the makeup and stuff for it. But
he did his own makeup. That's nice.
Right. So, and Rick Baker's first job was he was working on assisting on makeup on The Exorcist, and when he was working on there, he got hired by director Larry Cohen to design the mutant infant in the movie It's Alive. I don't know if you remember that movie where it was like a baby that was born and it was like a creature baby.
Actually, I don't know that movie.
Oh, you don't know that movie It's Alive?
No.
Oh my God, you got to see. That's like a cult classic horror movie.
You know what?
They made a sequel to that. I think it was called like It Lives Again or something like that.
Okay.
But he actually developed the whole baby, the whole character, this whole creature that's like It's like an infant, like a demon infant that like runs around and kills people and stuff. It's got like a claw.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you at first were going to talk about the Total Recall, Quaid.
Oh yeah,
that thing that come out of his
Quaid.
Yeah. Okay. Go on.
So anyway, so he was such an accomplished makeup artist, and this movie was this year in 1981 was the first year because of actually it was really due to the fact that in 1980 when The Elephant Man came out, there wasn't a category for makeup, and it didn't win anything like that, and it was like it wasn't quite special effects, it was more makeup. So then in 1981 was the first year that the Academy Awards had a makeup
really
best makeup in a motion picture, and he won it for this movie
well, obviously if they just started the category because of maybe him.
And he's won it he has actually been nominated for it like 10 times over the years and won it like 7 times.
You started naming some of those films which were closer to nowadays. It's he's run the gambit. He's from back in the 80s all the way to now. He's still
he created which was directed by John Landis. He created Michael Jackson's wolf character in the Thriller video.
Which you know,
created that.
I mean, that's exact.
And that was a John Landis directed video.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what happened. Michael Jackson saw the movie and is like,
"Yep,
I need that." I mean, and in his videos, the same exact effect with the face, growing and all that, everything. So, no dance moves in the movie though.
No dance moves in the movie. No. So anyway, and in this movie, by the way, Rick Baker also played one of the Nazi werewolves in the dream that he has. That dream, and they're in this house. They all break into his house.
Oh,
Rick Baker played one of the Nazi werewolves in that.
You know what?
It was really weird.
I totally forgot about that scene. My God,
it was
so
there were people
graphic.
That walked out of the theater when that scene.
All right, so Lucas, when David gets bit by the wolf and he's in the hospital, he's having a lot of dreams. Just weird dreams of him running naked through the woods, attacking a deer and eating it, and they're showing this, you know, except for his uncircumcised dingus.
Yeah, they didn't show that.
So, but there's a scene where he's
at like his house, like back home
with his house,
with his family,
and the doorbell rings, and his mother, I believe, goes answers the door, and it's these pseudo-Nazi pig-like
werewolf like they had like these wolf faces,
but Nazi gear, and they got machine guns. One of them runs to David immediately, puts a knife to his throat to hold him, while the rest of them shoot up his family, and it's bloody. And then they're shooting up the house. They were making him watch it. Then they're lighting the house on fire. And then finally, when all this carnage is happening, they finally slit his throat.
And that was actually the one that was Rick Baker, the one that slits his throat.
Oh, it was. Okay, so then
and he
wakes up in the hospital, and there's the nurse, you know, and she's like, "Okay, calm down. You just had a bad dream. Let me open the curtains and get some light in here for you." She goes and opens the curtains, and there's one of those Nazi guys with a knife. Jumps on her.
It was a dream within a dream.
And
it was like Inception.
It was with Nazi werewolves.
Right. He stabs her. Right. And blood's everywhere, and he's freaking out, and then he wakes up again.
And then Leonardo DiCaprio comes out, and he like tries to.
Was Rose in it?
Shakes.
He could have so got on that door with Rose.
Totally.
So
different movie, but that's all right.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, that's what I think about. But yeah, but that scene, that mass murder scene,
it was
of his
weird.
Family,
it was weird.
It was
creepy.
So now that I think about it, actually, it was way more graphic than the original.
There's a lot of. Well, even the opening scene, even though it's dark, it's probably darker. It was probably darker for us now watching it because of the quality of that we were probably both watching it on.
Right.
You know. It was probably darker than it was, but even that opening, not opening scene, but the first death when Jack dies, it's brutal.
So when the wolf kills his friend, and they pan back, there's this friend's body, and it's just mutilated, and blood everywhere.
Like sometimes, like those older '80s horror movies, sometimes like the gore is even like worse than like now, because like Game of Thrones, like it's like realistic, but like this is like bright red.
They went. They almost went. I think overboard on blood back then.
Yeah,
like maybe more than what would even come out of someone.
Sure.
Like they really went overboard on the blood,
like Kill Bill style, like just fountains.
Right. That. Yeah.
Them. Yeah. So.
But that was.
I'm glad that you reminded me about that scene, because that was it was horrific. It was horrific to watch, and it was just horrible.
Right. And then the development of this character of the actual wolf. I mean, I don't know if you saw how they did that. They had a guy basically on a wheelbarrow.
Oh yeah.
And so you only saw the front. So like they always filmed it so that you just saw from like the waist kind of forward,
because the way it ran,
so it was
fluid.
like playing that old game, when you're a kid and people hold your feet and you. That's what it was like. That's what they were doing, because he's walking with his front paws. So super cool. All right, you know what? I think it's time for a commercial.
Sounds good to me, man.
And we'll be right back.
Hey, man, I thought you quit that habit.
I've tried. It's not easy. I did the patch, the gum. Nothing works.
Oh, well, you need to try acupuncture.
Don't you mean acupuncture?
Oh, no. I meant what I said. Acupuncture.
What's that?
Listen, I thought I tried everything when I was trying to shed some pounds, and nothing worked. Then I heard about this acupuncture. Watch this. Check it out. Man, that chocolate cake looks good. I think I'll have a piece.
Acupuncture!
What the? What just happened?
That was acupuncture. If I even come close to eating anything I shouldn't, acupuncture stops me.
That's crazy. And that worked for you?
Man, I'm down 60 pounds since I got acupuncture. I heard about it from Bob. Hey, Bob, Gary here is thinking about acupuncture.
Oh, you gotta do it. Whatever your problem, acupuncture will fix it.
What was it that you needed acupuncture for, Bob?
Hey, guys, check out the new neighbor, Maggie. She's a fox.
Wow, she's really...
Acupuncture!
Oh, I see now. Dirty bird.
Okay, welcome back to the Biscuits and Gravy Odyssey. We've been talking about An American Werewolf in London, 1981, directed by John Landis. It's ow. All right, you mentioned early.
I was trying to make scary noises. Go ahead. Sorry.
You mentioned earlier about the when he was fully decayed in the movie theater. Okay, yeah. It was an adult movie theater that he was in.
He was.
Okay, that movie was actually created by John Landis. It was not a
real pornographic.
It was not a real pornographic movie. He actually made the movie for the movie. Okay,
that's the second fun fact you've told me.
Do you know? I'm going to tell you a whole bunch more right now.
Okay.
Do you know what the name of that movie was?
I do not.
Well, there was a poster in the scene with the guy in the subway. Was that his first kill, or was that his?
I think that was his first. That was his first.
The guy in the subway, when he's running from him, there's a poster on the wall in the subway.
Yep.
A movie poster for a pornographic movie called "See You Next Wednesday." Okay, that's the name of the movie.
Got it.
That is the movie that they are watching in the movie theater. See You Next Wednesday was the last line in the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. The character of Frank Poole, his father, when he's in the movie, he gets a video message from his parents telling him happy birthday and stuff like that. And the last line of the video message, his father says, "See you next Wednesday." Maybe he sends him a video message every week or something. So he says, see you next Wednesday. Ever since then, John Landis has put see you next Wednesday in most of his stuff. Okay? And usually
Why did it?
and I don't know why.
Okay, all right.
I don't think he's ever said why that
He just something that he
useless
does.
line struck him so much. But
Okay.
and it started with his first film, Schlock, where it was this is goofy.
That was my nickname in high school.
It was. I thought it was your nickname in adulthood. Okay.
In some circles.
But anyway, this is a goofy movie about a prehistoric ape man in California. But anyway, it's spoken about, and there's a film poster in this movie for a film called See You Next Wednesday. Not a pornographic film, because the film usually changes. Even the style of film changes from one thing to another. It's mentioned again in the Kentucky Fried movie. Mm-hmm. You see 2 different billboards in Blues Brothers for See You Next Wednesday.
Are you kidding me?
No, not at all. In the end of the movie coming soon, there's a trailer for this movie. And then in the movie Trading Places, in Jamie Lee Curtis's apartment, there's a movie poster for See You Next Wednesday.
I'm testing you right now. Where was it in Animal House?
It was not in Animal House.
Ah!
Yeah, I said in most.
Okay.
I said in most. Not in everything. In the video for Thriller, if you remember, when they were doing,
Don't tell me.
when they were in the movie theater,
Yeah.
and they're walking out of the movie theater. First of all, when they're walking out of the movie theater, I'm pretty sure there's a movie poster for it on the movie marquee. Mm-hmm. Also, while they're in the movie theater, they're talking about this. I think this might have been by the end. I'm not sure. No, it's not the end. When they're in the movie theater, there's a policeman in the movie reading a letter.
Okay.
And they're like, what does it say? You could just hear this on the screen. They're like, what does it say? And the cop goes, see you next Wednesday. Like that. So it's in that. It's in, Coming to America. It's in a poster. He actually does. It's written on. He also directed the video for the movie for the music video for the song Black or White by Michael Jackson.
Oh,
also,
he did?
You know that creepy one where the people keep like dancing and their faces change from one person to the next person at the end?
Yeah.
It always freaked me out.
That
video.
did?
Yeah,
I thought it was cutting edge. I thought it was awesome.
It was super cutting edge, but it was kind of creepy. The way their face would change from one person to the next person, it kind of creeped me out. But in that video, the extended version of the video, he's like dancing in like a kind of a broken down town city, he's dancing on top of cars, he's smashing them with a crowbar and stuff, and he takes a garbage can and he throws it through a window, and the window that he throws it through, it says something like, see you next Wednesday disposal or something like that.
No, you know what? We need to do something and find out why he puts this in all this.
I'm not sure why he liked that line,
There's
but
gotta be something out
I
there.
do know that that's what it comes from. Was from those 2001
John, give us a call, buddy.
Space Odyssey, and then I know this stuff that he's it's been in other non-John Landis stuff too. They've used it in Doctor Who. They've used it in
I love Doctor Who.
Grindhouse. They used it in Sharknado 5. They said it in there.
Did you hear that, boys? Sharknado 5. Really?
Yep, it's been used in a lot of non-Landis stuff then too, because people follow
You know
his
what?
suit because people are fans of
You have
his.
just blown my mind tonight with all the fun facts you've had because
I was hoping this one would blow your mind.
No, that was actually pretty darn good. I like all that stuff. That's cool.
See you next Wednesday.
Very cool. All right. Well, listen, it's been a great show tonight. I've really enjoyed it. I've learned a lot tonight, Chris.
I've learned some too. This is
No.
show.
It was a very good show and a great movie. And if you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it.
It's classic. It's classic horror and not slasher horror. It's classic horror. It's just a great movie
with some comedy elements in it.
Not all that new jump scare types of horror that they do now. It's just different. It's classic.
Jump scare's bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank you all. We need you guys to I really can't stress enough about rating and reviewing us because that really helps us push the show forward. So
check us out on all the different platforms. Try to check us out on YouTube though. YouTube, you'll find extra content. You might even find some extra content this week on YouTube. So
subscribe and like us up there.
Check us out.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank you all again for listening to our Spooktacular, and looking forward to hearing from you guys in the emails at bagopod.com at gmail.com.
That's not how any of this works.
I'm going to remove you from my wall. Well, then what is it if you know it so much?
Bagopod.com at gmail. Just bagopod at gmail.com.
That was a test.
Yeah, sure.
All right, listen. Sending a lot of love out to you guys. Stay gold.
Bye-bye.
Why did it have to be snakes?
You got to blow it out. Do it again.
Welcome to Discreet Lube. Would you please turn your car off?
Sure thing, buddy.
What can we do for you today, sir?
Oh, I need an oil change.
Sounds good. Oil change, Bay 2.
Oil change Bay 3.
I'm sorry.
That works. That works. Of course. Would you pop your trunk so I can get man tied and gagged in the trunk? Well, let me get to that brake light. Jeez, that's annoying.
Why did you start laughing?